Today I'm going to be talking about my first job in Taiwan. It was kind of a whirlwind coming over to Taiwan, and the first thing that was kind of a red flag for me was when I talked to my recruiter. She told me that I told her that I was going to come in at 2 o'clock, and she automatically assumed that it was 2 o'clock in the afternoon, but it was 2 o'clock in the morning. So I ended up calling her, and she's like, "Who is this?" Right? So it was like 2 o'clock. Eventually, she said, "Oh yeah, we'll just wait in the airport until I come." And I was like, "What the heck? 12 hours? You want me to wait 12 hours in the airport? Like you don't have any other instructions?" And I was kind of tired, limited on internet. I probably should have just used the free Wi-Fi to just explore or whatever. And so yeah, I was there. And the thing is, I didn't know anybody. I didn't have any resources or anything there, so I just didn't really have that much of a choice. Eventually, we ended up going to a restaurant, and she says, "Order anything on the menu." And everything was in Chinese, so at the time my Chinese level was basically zero, and I said, "I don't know what to order." I don't even know like what any of this stuff is. I don't know the names or anything. So eventually she brought me over to her friend's place so I could go stay over there temporarily while I could figure out the whole housing situation. We had a job. And that's another thing too. The actual job itself was like 10 hours a day. I was like working in the morning and working in the afternoon, and that was. I had a break in between, and basically I slept at that time. And I would just like, if anybody wanted to like go find me, I'd like try to like hide in my desk or something. But yeah, so I was basically working 50 hours a week, like not even like including breaks. That was actually just the hours, right? And then I'd go home, and I was trying to figure out like some other stuff. I had some classes that I would do over in Taipei. I would like rent a room, and I was thinking, okay, eventually maybe this might take over my full-time income. It didn't, right? And eventually I heard about another job that was like in the middle of Taiwan, which was basically my whole my whole idea about jobs in teaching English in Asia is that you got to go not to the main cities, not to obviously the lowest tier cities, but somewhere like in between, somewhere in the middle where people they don't see foreigners on a regular basis, and they really need you for that job. So if nobody else can do that job, like they're gonna have a really hard time. So I found my way to like the middle of Taiwan. It's basically in the middle of nowhere. I was really surprised actually because there was like a Chinese British guy, some American guy who like couldn't be bothered with anyone, who was really antisocial, and eventually like some South African guy who wears a lot of cologne came to. I'm just talking about these guys because you'll never you'll never hear from them, or you don't know who they are. So anyway, yeah, I kind of had like an okay time, and the thing is that I had another job, like, and eventually I moved over to mainland China, but that was beside the point. Anyway, getting back to my first job, right? Is sometimes they would just like tell me that I need to, I think one of the worst pieces of advice that Taiwan teachers will give you is to not to basically discipline the class by yourself, right? And I was thinking, okay, well, maybe I'll just wait, because you get an assistant, right? But the assistant is busy doing like 10 million other things, so they're not really going to be ready to help you out. Sometimes they might even just disappear, and it turns out that I was relying way too much on my assistant, so they pulled me into like the room, like with like the head teacher, like whatever. The head teacher was from South Africa, and they also had like the manager, and they was like telling me that, yeah, you need to like pull more weight, right? And then this was like the dumbest time. I actually like yelled my head off. I yelled so much that it like hurt my body, and at that point I realized that, what, this is really dumb. Like, you can't yell at people in like another language. Can you imagine, like, you pick some random language and somebody's like yelling at you in that language, and you sense that they're angry at you, but you don't know what the meaning is, so you just kind of shrug it off. That's basically the way that my students were, right? And I guess like the students themselves were really lovely, but I think maybe the classes were too long. The curriculum wasn't really that great, and it gave me the privilege of moving like outside, a little bit outside of Taipei, so I could go there on the weekends and stuff. And I had a girlfriend at the time too, and blah blah blah. But basically, I had to, everything that I was trying to have fun with, or the reason I was there was like all relegated to the weekend. So Anyways, guys, that's just a tidbit of my first job in Taiwan. Hopefully I'll get around this to talking more about my adventure in Taiwan. And this is just part one. I'll see you guys later. Bye.